Well, hello, and welcome to the Wine and Wisdom Show. If you are a returning person to this episode, thank you for coming back, and I'm so pleased that you are here. But if you are here for the very first time, welcome to you too. I'm not sure if you know much about this particular show, but to me, it is all about connection. And I think one thing that we can definitely take from the last few months, from this global pandemic that has put us all into quite a bit of turmoil, really, is that one of the silver linings is, as humans, we really do crave connection. We crave connection with other humans who can bring a smile to our face, some warmth to our heart, and some wisdom to our brains. And I feel like I have been extremely lucky throughout my life to be surrounded by some very talented individuals. So the whole connection piece is to firstly connect with you and have a virtual wine. So cheers. And secondly, so I can bring the talented, resilient, and courageous self-leaders to this show to share their wisdom. And tonight, oh my gosh, are we in for a treat? Our guest tonight is someone he doesn't know this, but I have idolized him for over 10 years. He is the artistic director of the one and only Sydney Dance Company. And tonight we're going to talk about how the arts, the magic of the arts, especially dance as an art form, can help to improve our health and happiness. So I hope you've got something in your wine glass. You've got a comfy spot on your couch. You've got a very open heart, because we are in for the most inspiring conversation with the iconic Rafael Bonachela. I'm going to bring him on right now. Here, okay. Let's hope that there he is. Look at that gorgeous smiley face. Hello, Rafael. So thank you for
Hello,
being
Heidi. My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me and for inviting me to spend some time and drink some wine.
Oh, should we just have a cheers? You have to cheers like the opposite way. And
yeah.
yeah, it's really kind of weird. There we go.
There you go.
I was just telling Raf that I have got a very special Grand Reserva Spanish wine for tonight in his dedication. Oh, Katrina's saying cheers. So we would love to know what you are drinking right now. Are you having a red or white, a whiskey or a beer? And Raf?
I'm having a red and it's Pinot Noir from Tasmania.
Aha.
That's what
Well,
I'm drinking tonight.
thank you for supporting our local wineries, and I am supporting your local wineries.
I know. Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, yes, we'd love to know if you're having a little sip of wine and what you're having. Tell us where you are and what you're having, and we will get started. So, Rafael, please tell everybody, just a little bit of background, who you are, what you are doing, and how you are sprinkling all your amazingness across the globe.
Well. Look, for 11 years, I have been incredibly lucky, privileged, and honored to be able to be leading Sydney Dance Company, a company that last year was 50 years old, which is an incredible achievement in the arts for a contemporary arts organization and dance. And for me, my driving force, it's always that I believe that contemporary dance and what we do as choreographers, dancers, and in Sydney Dance Company is one of the most exciting, moving, and transformative experiences that audiences can have today. And for me, with that in mind, and with that belief in mind, my mission, with the company, I'm so fortunate because I'm able to create work, new works of dance. I'm able to commission work of other choreographers. And for me, I want as many audiences from as far, from Australia, from overseas, from everywhere, to be able to share in that experience that I'm talking about, that I know that dance can give to people.
Yeah.
So, that's I hope that's, some of the positive things that we're doing, through dance. And we were meant to be now on a tour in New South Wales,
Yeah.
performing with the company
Yeah.
in Orange, in Davo, you name it. We were going to WA, we were going to to South Australia this year. So, unfortunately, we're not able to, but I do love being able to share dance with with everyone. It's one of the things that I have always, as a little boy that was born in a small town just outside Barcelona, I never had the opportunity to take a dance lesson when I was little. I know the impact that the arts, and I know that we'll be talking about this tonight also, can
Yeah.
have on humans and people. So
Yes.
that's part of my
Yeah.
mission.
And, when you say that, I know a little bit about your backstory. You're one of four boys growing
That's
up in a
right.
family that was not in the arts as such. Is that correct?
No, they were not. But you see, the arts and culture is part of in Spain. That dancing and moving, and they never been to a ballet. They had never been to certainly to see contemporary dance or anything like that. My parents were, you know, factory workers, um, having a family post Franco. Like I was born with Franco,
Okay.
and there was no dance. Like I love dancing, and they never stopped me. So there was nothing that they could do because they didn't know where to take me, or never mind the fact that that could be a profession. But
Yeah.
they always encouraged me, I joined the choir just so that I could learn how to sing for free and play the piano. And, they just, their artistic side, they really, they celebrated it. Although
Yeah.
for them, they didn't have the possibility to go to theaters or take us to theaters. They really music and dance and that just very simple way of sharing that you're talking about was
Yeah.
part of our background. So I was very lucky in that
Yeah.
way.
And so, was there like this defining moment or something that happened to you, or, just this, or was it, we had a guest last time who talked about the magical dance of choice and chance, how
Hmm.
life either becomes a chance or it becomes a choice. But for you, what was it? Was it chance or was it choice that led you to where you are now?
Look, a bit of both. And I have to say that there's been a few moments in my life that I was like, I cannot believe that this is happening. Like, really? Really, that I never maybe looked for.
Yeah.
But I was very actively sort of working and focusing in what I love doing. So I never thought that I could become a dancer until I
Yeah.
saw Fame on TV, the series.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I
my
was like,
God,
oh
I
my
love
God,
it.
you can, yeah, like it wasn't Swan Lake or anything like that. It was Leroy. I was
Yeah.
like, I had a crash. I was like, oh
I
my
did
God, I really
too.
like
I
him.
did too.
So for me, it was like, oh, I bought the book, I bought the cassette. Like, I became obsessed with the fact that you could go and learn how to dance. And
Yeah.
then my parents helped me once I could get a train and so on. And then it became an obsession. And there was people that I've met along the way that suddenly said to me, oh, look, I remember my first teacher of contemporary dance in Barcelona, and I was like 16, and I had taken very few lessons, like a year worth of lessons. And she said, oh, there's a contemporary dance company doing an audition next week. They're looking for men. And because there were so few men in the late 80s that
Yeah.
danced, I was like, oh, contemporary dance, I don't even know what that is, literally. And I'm not just saying it, but
Yeah, right.
it's
Yes.
dance. So I went to this audition, and I ended up with a job that suddenly took me touring across Europe. And I was able to see other companies, other men
Uh-huh.
dancing. I
Yeah.
wasn't the only boy anymore. So I've been very lucky that through my life, there's been this, discipline that it takes to become a dancer and hard
Mm.
work, because you can have great teachers, but it's sort of, you've got to do it yourself. Like it's
Yeah.
you and your body. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't do it, if you don't invest in it, it's not going to happen. And that's wonderful because you've got some control over it. But then also there is things and people that you meet that, will send things to you. And so, yes, that was a moment. And then I guess also coming to Australia, when I came in 2008 as a guest choreographer,
Mm.
and I was here for 2 months. I was making it work. I was going back to London, which is where I lived for 20 years. But then while I was here, I didn't even know that Cine Dance Company were looking for a director, and people were saying to me, "Oh, are you going for the job?" And I was like, "No, like what job? Like I've got a company in London and so on." But then being here after a month and then a month and a half, I was like, maybe I should think about this opportunity in Sydney Dance Company and getting to know, the people here and everything. So that was another defining moment where I just came here to come and do something and go back to where I was living and working. But life brought these people and this opportunity. And then within 3 months, I moved to Australia. So yes, you
Wow.
have to sometimes, make things happen, but also go with the flow.
Just see what
And
unfolds for you, really, isn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely.
And so, Raf, right now, I think more than ever, the arts in society just has this even, I don't know, a more important role. What are your thoughts on that? How are the arts as a
I
group?
mean, yeah.
What are they going to be for us right now?
I mean, I think, look, I often think, when I'm really upset because, they're not giving enough importance to the arts or supporting the arts and so on, that it's like, can you imagine a world without the arts? Can you imagine a world without music, without literature, without dance, without film, architecture, etc.? Like the arts are everywhere,
Yeah,
everywhere, even and everywhere we look, and it's often taken for granted. Like even now, when people are stuck at home and we cannot go to the theater or all of these amazing things or to a museum. I mean, now as per today, you can go to a museum, but you can still not go to theaters.
yes.
People don't realize that watching TV, watching Netflix, it's all full of artists
Mm,
that
mm,
have trained for a lifetime. Like we would not be entertained and enlightened, and even if the arts didn't exist. But
yeah,
for me, right now, like you're saying, like it's more important than ever because for me the arts really underpin culture and who we are in society, and enriches our souls and entertains us and everything else. But in these times where socially and economically and
yeah,
there's so much change and upheaval in so many ways, and it's not just coronavirus. You
no,
put the news and it's just adding,
yeah,
because people are going like, no, enough is enough. And I think when
yes,
there's a lot of change, the arts, they are that voice,
yeah,
that helps us to understand and to describe the world around us. And they give voice to the people that have no voice. So there's
yes.
so much why it's so important. And I mean, I think I always, in Spanish, I always say this thing about like, oh, la vida no es suficiente. Like, for me, it's like in English, it's sort of like life is not enough,
Mm.
meaning life by itself without culture and the arts and music and everything that makes us who we are. For me, I feel like it would be, it's not enough. You need the arts in
You
every
do need,
way.
yeah. And I'd love to
Yeah.
hear from those who are watching. And I know with Facebook Live, as you know, Rafael, that we have people watching now, but people will watch and watch and watch later on tonight and tomorrow on the weekend. But I'd love to, if you are watching now, to tell us what was your first experience of the arts? Was it going to a museum? Was it to the City Dance Company, the Bangara? Like, what did you have? Oh, we've got someone here. Rafael, we have all learnt many ways to move online as a substitute. Quattro has been so amazing to watch online, yes. And I don't know if I said that right. And to
No,
showcase
perfect.
and showcase the music and dances. Would you consider doing it more often? Thank you, Katrina. That is a fantastic question.
No, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that we have learned from this moment in time, that, and in a way, it was very much part of our planning, how to reach more people. And obviously, through a virtual world, through streaming, through creating more
Yeah,
content. And we actually, because we are a touring company and so on, and, never had the time. And suddenly everything stopped. And we were like, okay, right, this is it.
yeah,
And within 6 days, we pivoted the Sydney Dance Company. One of our, most wonderful things that we have is the dance classes. So we have
yes,
this incredible company and we do everything that we do, but we also have 80,000 participants a year that come and take a dance class, whether it's ballet, contemporary, jazz, tap, hip hop, you name it. we do it, and
you do it.
we managed to go virtually, the virtual studio we call it, and the feedback from people across the country that don't live in Sydney and can't go to take a class, it's just been incredible. So absolutely, I mean, we will learn from this, and we will, continue to, to find new ways in this digital world to connect with people.
Well, I mean, I think watching what you have done has been incredible. There is no doubt. But no matter what you continue to do online, because I would love to be able to tap into seeing that more often as well. But I can assure you now that getting back into the Rosalind Packer Theatre and seeing your next production is high on my list of firsts that will be booked as soon as you open the booking platform, I promise you. So please don't stop doing that. But I think it's a great question because, this kind of reach that you've been able to get while, I would imagine first off, it would have been like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? And you've had to really transition during this time to bring dance to Australia and to the world, really, through what you've done.
Yeah, it's been incredible, and we've learned a lot, and it's been really the silver lining, as they say, with everything, because we've been able to keep most of the company employed, and because the dancers in the company are teaching in the virtual studio, they're actually doing the support, the technical support for the virtual studio. Yes. Everyone's had to learn so many more, and we also have a full-time course that's gone online, and then of course the company. At the very beginning, for me, we were sent home. We were almost opening a new season. Yeah. Literally on the Tuesday we went home, and the opening was meant to be on Saturday, I think, or the preview. And for me, it was very important to find a way to be able to artistically respond to this moment in time. And that's when we came up with the whole SDC hashtag SDC Keep Dancing, which was going to be this virtual space. Where I asked the dancers to throw ideas around, because everything was, we postponed, at least the next 3 months, and to create artistic content that we could share with our audience, with our patrons. And it's been amazing because we did like International Dance Day film with dancers dancing in their living rooms, like Mother's Day, Family's Day, you name it, Yoga Day. We celebrated every day, with creativity and with the arts. And it's been amazing how responsive people have been to it, and how supportive of what we do. And it's been a way of, we can't come to your town, unfortunately, but Cuatro, which is 4 films that we did with SSO, we started talking about it a few months, 3 months ago, and we thought that we would be filming it in our living rooms. And then bit by bit, restrictions have been lifted quicker than in other places, thank God. And then on that first week where we were able to have 4 people together in a room, I was like, okay, this is it. One dancer at a time, one musician at a time. They never met in person. Amazing. They only met on Zoom. We rehearsed on Zoom, choreographed it on Zoom. And then we were 4 people in the building. And then one by one we filmed it, and then the magic of film, brought it to life. So you need to, it's one of the things about, you cannot let it, like, it's bad, but finding ways to, to still be creative and to still, be able. It's important.
Well, I think that you're quite the master of that, really, because you've gone from being a dancer. Then to being a contemporary choreographer with your own dance group in London, company in London, choreographing. You then went on to being a pop princesses choreographer. We know you were the genius behind Kylie Minogue's Fever Tour. So that was quite a transition again. Now
that was one of those moments I was talking about that I was like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. But it is, and I'm going to go with it.
I'm just going to say yes and work it out later, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then artistic director of one of Australia's most, incredible companies. And of course, even now having to transition into this online platform of bringing dance to all corners of the earth. I mean, so many people during COVID-19 have also had to change what they're doing, change how they're doing it. They've lost jobs. They've got to apply for new jobs, new roles. There's transition going on everywhere. So being the master, which I truly believe you are, have you got any insights for people on how to evolve and adapt?
I mean,
Well,
what's become really, really clear is that, we very quickly in these last few months is that we are, as people and organizations are going to have to be agile and innovative in the way that we're able to adapt, because these, increasingly changing environments and challenges that brings. So that's become, even for someone that's used to, have from dancer to choreographer to this to that, but we need to be looking, opening up and diversifying and increasing skills. So I guess, my insight was that, I never knew that I would become a dancer. Like my parents said to me, oh, look, we'll let you go to London to study dance, but you have to finish high school, because if that doesn't work, you don't become, I can go back to university and go back to study. And when I then finished or was finishing as a dancer, I never knew if I would be a good choreographer. The truth is, nothing ever came fully realized. Look, I had to go at it. I had to get bad reviews. I had to get, a lot of no's. And often people say to me, "Oh my God, like all of the things you've done," and I'm like, I should write a CV of all of the no's I always got, because that's probably longer or as long as the amazing stuff. And honestly, I feel so lucky and so proud. But I think, my I loved what I what I did, what I do. I never went in for the money, obviously. It's dance, it's the art. If that's how you do it, then forget about it. The joy that it brings you is a very different one, and it pays
Sure.
for everything. And I in every way I can't complain. But I think, people, I think it can be scary. It can be scary, but you can only, put yourself into it and inform yourself and do research. And people want to help also. So you can always reach out to people. I'm always like, I don't know everything, and I'm always learning and I'm still learning. But if I don't, I ask, I don't pretend. So I think there's going to be a lot of things that are going to change for a lot of people, but to just be open-minded, open-minded and receptive, and, things are going to have to be different.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's been interesting, you were talking about this time that we're in and having to be agile and do different things. It's been interesting to watch people on social media who have embraced dancing in their lounge rooms and dancing like with your, you say 80,000 people who used to come to class are now doing it, maybe not all of them, but via Zoom.
We have 35,000 we've had attendees.
Oh my gosh!
I love the numbers. I love the numbers.
I do too. That is incredible. 35,000. So
35,000.
I mean, especially during a time with lockdown when our physical health and our mental health is actually at risk, really.
Yeah.
Dance, in fact, has played a really important role to help with people's physical and mental health, don't you think?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. And I believe that dance, has been and will be of great help, because in this instance, we've been able to reach far and beyond and connect virtually with thousands of people. And some people sometimes are actually shy to go into a studio of dance because they think that they might know as much as the rest of the people. So the feedback that we have had has been extraordinary, because people is like from all parts of Australia, like Alice Springs, you name it, like in their living rooms, in their kitchens, wherever, just being part of a community that's virtual. We've had stories, of families that are in the medical profession, even, or people that have been lonely without family because they're separated in this big country. And it's been really, really, really good for not just the body, but also the mind. Because I often think, like, for humans, even before we learn how to speak and to communicate through words, if you put music and there's a baby there, like, that can't even stand up, you're
Yeah.
holding it by the two arms, and the baby starts moving to the
Yeah.
rhythm. You know, like
Yeah.
it's in us. It's and we should do it more. You know,
Yes.
we hear music, we can't speak, we can't communicate, but we move. You know,
Yeah.
I always say that we may not speak the same language, but we can move. We can
Yeah.
come together to the same beat. So I I am very glad that I'm that we've done it, and and also what I have heard from different people is just been wonderful. We all have a body, you know. The more we get to know it, the more
Yeah.
we understand it, the more connected we are to who we are, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that beautiful words. Thank you. I couldn't agree more. And I'd actually love to know if anyone would be game enough who is watching right now to tell us in the comments whether they have been dancing in their lounge room over the last few months and what they have been dancing to. What is your favorite person to turn up loud, crank it up, and move your body to? Come on. We want to see. Don't be shy. So, Rafa, one other part of that whole mental health component is that is a feeling of joy. You know, I've been
Yes.
talking a lot about joy and how to tap into the things in your life that bring you joy. Because when you can do that, you know, not only are you more resilient to the curveballs and the cannonballs that we can't uh, control that come into our lives, but it makes us smile, and there's a ripple effect of joy when it comes from one person into everybody around us. And watching people online and being someone who has loved going to see dance over 2 decades or more, actually, I get such joy. I see dance bringing so much joy to people. Is that such a, like when you're creating,
Hmm.
is that one of the goals? We want to bring the audience joy.
Look, I think there's that side of it, and but for me, like I have always loved dancing, obviously.
Obviously.
As you know, obviously, and then I decided to train and become a dancer, and then I became a choreographer, and it became my career choice. But beyond that, that dancing alone or dancing in a disco with people, that shared experience of dancing. I remember some of my best memories are Ibiza in the 90s.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
some of my best memories is just dancing
You
and
remember those
partying.
ones.
Yeah, I remember those ones. It's funny, and I see the people, and whether you become a dancer, you don't, it doesn't matter. It
Mm,
is something that brings you joy. And the truth is that beyond that, and music and partying and so on, and coming together, or, there is a lot of science behind dance and how dance brings you joy and how dance is good in every possible way because, it raises out your heart rate,
yeah,
and then and I know this because it releases the feel good endorphins into the
yeah,
bloodstream, and
yeah.
apparently it's more than any other form of exercise. So that, and then there is another element to it, that dancing connects with your emotional centers in your brain, and for many people it can really prompt like amazing emotional responses. It can be really cathartic. It's really therapeutic. It can even make people cry.
Yeah.
It can really get you. But mostly, it really does lift the spirits. So, you know, there's a lot of studies, a lot of science that has been done behind dancing, the cognitive benefits of dancing, spatial awareness, confidence, body language, etc., etc. Reduces the levels of cortisol, of the stress. Like it's got it all. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm really pushing for that, but it really does relax you and makes you a happy person.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I mean, as a participant or as a spectator, actually, it both, in fact, it brings joy. So it's
So yeah.
wonderful. And when I think about what's going on right now, and once you can again be going back into studios and doing what you do best, and working on the next performances for the audiences, what role do you see dance will have in telling the stories of what has gone on in the past few months? Will we see
Look,
dance
I think
telling those stories, do you think?
contemporary dance, for me, always deals with the now. with what's going on now, it's of the moment, and it should, or reflect our times. And I think that in different ways, and with different voices, different choreographers will respond to the world around us. So yes, I do believe that the dance will play an important role in telling the story. And in fact, from day one of lockdown, and choreographers and dancers around the world got busy creating in ISO, as
Yeah.
they say in Australia, in isolation. And
Yeah.
so many people have been expressing how they feel, the isolation, the distance, and so on, through films, through dance.
Yeah.
So I think that right now, yes, there is this exchange that's virtual, that we're getting used to, and it's a way of connecting, and it's wonderful. And then also there is film that's being used,
Yeah.
but I definitely cannot wait to get into the studio and to be back on a theater with the dancers.
Yeah.
I don't know, personally, I'm still navigating this reality, and the truth that I don't know where it will all land.
Mm.
I think we're not there yet, even if in Australia we're quite lucky with the fact that health-wise things have not been as bad as in other
Yeah.
countries. The pandemic is far from over.
Yes.
So, I've always said that life inspires all my work. The life that I live,
Yeah.
the people that I meet will always inspire. So I have no doubt that this is going to be part of, whether it's consciously or
Yeah.
subconsciously,
Yeah.
there's something that's going to remain there through my work in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I look forward to seeing how that unfolds for your creation. It will be quite remarkable, I am sure. Now, Rafael, you are having to hold on to this Sydney Dance Company. You have had to look after all the dancers. You've had to look after all your community who are still desperate to see parts of Sydney Dance Company come into their computers at least.
Hmm.
I imagine the pressure that you've been under over the last 3 months to hold everything together has been immense. So my question to you is, what are you doing for yourself to ensure that your resilience is strong enough to deal with these very stressful and uncertain times?
Well, look, I'm very lucky that I have a beautiful partner, Joe, who, we live together and we're together, and, he's incredibly supportive, and we're there for each other.
Mm,
And I feel very, very fortunate that that's in my life, because, as they say, for the good and for the bad.
yes,
So,
yes,
for all of those moments, it's important to have people around. Obviously, we've not been able to, I work with an incredible team of people that have worked so hard, and just really incredibly make me so proud of working in this place, in Sydney Dance Company, because they've really inspired me, actually. That's been a big part of building my resilience, seeing everyone around me just like going for it, and doing
yeah,
so much good for people, and at all levels of the organization, in the administration team, with the dancers, with the company, also the dancers. I said to them, you know, our job description is out of the window, for the next little bit of time. If we want to stay in place, employed, we need to learn how to do everything that we've never maybe before had to learn.
yeah,
I mean, I have tried to stay as physical as possible.
yes,
I think, going back to what I preach or what
yes,
I say, I've at least we've been lucky in Australia that we've been able to at least go to a park
mm,
and run or move or work and enjoy the beautiful city that we live in.
yeah,
So that's been a big part of it. And then now, obviously, now we can connect with friends and people and
yes.
spend some time and family, and that's important. I've been talking to my mother every day. I've never done that in
Oh,
40 years, right?
yeah, but she's
Like talking to her,
loving that.
because she's really done lockdown as a
Yeah,
rock, like
yeah,
7 or
much
4 days
different to here.
lockdown. So yeah, and it's been very beautiful, because I've been like, just to not talk about COVID-19. I've been doing this thing where we've been talking about when she was young. So she's been telling me all these stories of when she was young, and her mother and her father, who were my grandparents, and we've had this special connection.
Yeah,
In fact,
yeah,
that if COVID-19 wouldn't have happened, I would have kept calling her every week,
Yes.
and we just check in on each other. But there's been a beautiful new bond, actually, that's come out of wanting to, to make sure that, she was alone, but not so alone and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, I've
Good.
tried, to stay busy and sane.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I just want to go back because I'm sure you'll love this. That Katrina said that Fame was on TV last week and she danced to the theme song like it was 1988.
I
Anyway,
rewatched the series not that long ago, actually.
oh, it's such a great series. Oh my gosh. And Claudia is saying that dance is so therapeutic at all stages of life. There, the studies showing that it helps the elderly people and their cognitive function. There's also quite a bit of mathematics in dancing and educational programs that aim to connect the two together. So, which is,
Absolutely.
thank you, Claudia. That's a great input to this conversation. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful to hear that, actually, because there's so much. We talk about creative thinking, innovative, and so on, and the arts and science go alongside each other.
They do.
It is about discovering the world. It is about more knowledge in different ways. They're so connected in every way, and when choreography and dancing and your body does develop, it gives you tools that you can use beyond dance as a human being. In fact, a lot of dancers, we were talking about transitioning careers and so on, and when you're a dancer, you may become a choreographer, you may not. So a lot of dancers have to fully retrain age 35, into lawyers, physios, like plumbers. Like, I've had it all, like, in my career.
Yeah.
And I think that what you bring with you into that new profession, coming from dance and having had that intelligence in your body, that's not just intellectual, but it's physical intelligence.
Yeah.
It's a gift, I think.
Yeah, beautiful.
So more dance for everyone, I think.
Absolutely, without doubt. And Rafael, I know we have gone over time. Are you okay? Because I've got 2 more questions. Is this
good.
right for you?
Good.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you very much. And thank you for everybody who's sticking with us.
I have my wine.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that always helps just to keep going, doesn't it? So my second last question to you is, I would love to hear what piece of wisdom that has been given to you that has made an impact in your life, and who was it from, and why was it important?
Well, look, I don't know. I mean, I think this moment in time, like the coronavirus, I don't know if that's like this moment that suddenly, for the first time in my life, we're all worldwide going through this same thing, regardless of where you live and what age or background or anything. It's made me really think about, the moment, seizing the moment, and carpe diem, basically.
Yeah.
This is something that's affecting all of us, but it's affecting all of us in very different ways and very differently from each other. My brother, 44, was in hospital in intensive care. He, fighting for his life. He did survive coronavirus, and he's one of the lucky ones. But it was so close within me and my proximity and my family, that to live through that experience, that it made me really realize that the importance of the now, and the importance of staying open, and the importance of the moment, because nothing is permanent. And there's nothing bad about things not being permanent, because it's something beautiful about change.
Yes.
But honestly, like, you're here and you're not. Sorry, it sounds a bit, I don't want to be negative, because I'm not, but like, something like this can happen and your life can change.
Yeah,
So
in a heartbeat.
being authentic, being truthful to who you are, and living that moment, it's a wisdom that, I don't know if it's wisdom or something, but it's something that coronavirus, more than ever, has made me really go, like, Rafael, there's only so much you can think about the past, and of course I should learn from the past, and there's only so much I can worry about the future. The now, it's really.
Yeah. Oh, no, well said. And I think, despite all the horrendous things that have come out of the last few months, there definitely has been some gifts that that we can all embrace to move forward with. And I think what you've said there is certainly one of them. So I want to wrap up with understanding, as Australians who have loved the Sydney Dance Company for 51 years now, we do not want to see it fold at all. JobKeeper will end in September, and I know that has been a big part of ensuring that everybody has been able to keep their jobs, even though the roles have changed. What can we do to support your company? What can we do to make sure it will continue to be able to be a company? Like, can we donate? What can we do to show our support for something that we do not want to lose?
Look, thank you. And I think that one of the things that it's been a topic tonight is joining the virtual studio or the physical studio, because now we've opened again Ultimo Studios in Sydney. So that on itself, for me, I always say that our most important collaboration is our audience. They buy tickets, they come and see the theater. That's that's the best anyone could do. Right now, unfortunately, for a little bit of time, that's not an opportunity to buy a ticket, but it will be in the future. So I hope that people that maybe never came will come. But to maybe join the Sydney Dance Company family through the classes, which are multiple in every possible way at all levels, that's a way of helping, but also getting something we do really well. We're sharing and we're connecting. And then, of course, if anyone can and would like to make a philanthropic, support us through philanthropy and make a tax deductible gift, then, in this time, until we emerge from the COVID crisis, just go to the website and there's always a donate button, like I think in all arts organizations.
Right now.
Yes, and it's always any gift of any size. It's enormously welcomed, and it means a lot to me and to everyone at Sydney Dance Company.
Well, I will certainly put that link into the chat after we close off tonight. And you do have 6 days left of the financial year if you do need to get some donations, tax-deductible donations put into your accounting system. So please do that. But, more than that even is the coronavirus has hit us all in very different ways. And for a lot of people, they have felt quite down and out about the impact it's had on their personal life and their professional life. And it has also, being in lockdown has meant that perhaps there hasn't been as much movement and activity and connection with others. So the Sydney Dance Company really allows you to tick those boxes by moving more and connecting with others and feeling the joy of cranking up music in your lounge room and dancing like nobody's watching. So if anybody who's watching now or later has felt a bit down and out, has felt that their physical health has been impacted negatively, and is feeling perhaps that their mental health has been impacted negatively, gift this to yourself. Just give it a shot. Just gift it to yourself, because the joy that you will feel, that will surge all those hormones that we talked about,
endorphins
and nature's love drug through your body can make such a difference. So please give it a shot. Just do one class with them, one virtual class, and see how it makes you feel. What do you think, Rafael? Is that a good way to get people to do that?
Absolutely, and it comes from the heart. And I know that you know the company really well. Even before I knew the company, you knew the company. I'm the lucky one that's now, running with it. But to be able to, I think, dance should be like any other lesson in school. Like we were talking about Cuba earlier. And one of the things that I love about Cuba is that dance, it's like maths or language or any other lesson that you would have. Dance
Yes.
And it's the most incredible dancers. But you don't even need to become a dancer. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
just such a good thing to do. So it's never too late. Just
Never too
remember that,
late.
everyone, it's never too late.
It isn't too late. And yeah, on that, I mean, Rafa and I were both in Cuba. It was in separate holidays earlier this year, and we were talking about how that connection that people get to movement and dance and music and song, and the joy that brings. And it's just part of their upbringing, which is a little different here in this country, where we idolize sport above all else, which I am an idolizer of sport as well, but there's this whole different dimension to the joy that dance can bring and the connection that dance can bring. So let's dig deep, and if you've got $1 or $5 or $10 or more, every little dollar will go and help this amazing Australian company keep its doors open, and so we can all enjoy the beauty and the magic of dance. So Rafael Bonachela, thank you so much for tonight. You have been incredible to have here with us, and I know people are so appreciative of your time, of your wisdom, of having a little wine together. That is always nice. And yes. For everybody who have any questions for Rafael, please put them in the comments. We'll check in a bit later and answer them. But for now, I don't know if you've got anything you'd like to say before we wrap up. Have you got anything final that you'd like to say before we wrap up?
I'm sorry. Sorry, Heidi. No, I just wanted to thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute joy, and it's always wonderful to be able to share. And I've had a wonderful time tonight with you. So thank you, Heidi, for inviting me.
My pleasure. And if anyone would like to know who the guests are upcoming on this Wine and Wisdom show, just direct message me and I can sort that all out for you. But for now, thank you, Rafael. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that I've got my face next to yours on the screen. It's so exciting. And thank you, Annie. I love you, Annie, for making this happen. All right, everyone, good night. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy your wine. And we will see you again soon.